Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Solutions Lab. I'm Chris Phillips. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We've got a packed house, not only in the crowd, but on the call. So I don't want to waste too much time, but let's introduce everyone. Today we're going to be talking about future-proofing IT solutions with secure HP ZBooks powered by AMD. To do that, we've got a packed house. I've got Alonzo from HP. Alonzo, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me.
I've also got Arturo from HP. Arturo, how's it going?
Really good, thank you for having us.
And and the last person joining us from HP, we got Gerald. Gerald, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you guys today? Great to be here.
And then we also have the world famous Jeff Presley joining us from AMD. Jeff, how's it going?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Chris.
He gets the world famous to his title here. I think he's earned it, guys. Well, we got a long presentation for you guys today, a lot of stuff to go through. If you guys have any questions, viewers, if you have any questions as we go through the presentation, you can go ahead and ask them in the window I just highlighted. We also have some resources available in the window I've highlighted as well. If you've been joining us for webcasts in the past, you might have noticed a new reactions button that I'll highlight here. That'll just kind of throw up some reactions to slides and information you're seeing. Kind of gives us visual feedback of what you guys are thinking of what you're seeing as you're seeing it. But to start things off, I think we're going to go over to Arturo. He's got a little bit to start with today. Arturo, how's it going?
Really good, thanks, Chris.
All right.
Let me start sharing my screen.
Okay, we got you.
Great. So we have Alonso and myself on the line. We come from HP, and we will be providing a quick overview of our HP integrated quoting tool and some of its benefits that can help you drive business. Alonso, I'll give it over to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Taro. Appreciate that. As Taro said, from HP, within our configured price and quoting solution, and right now we're the experts for the new integrated quoting solution right there held on the HP Partner Portal. So if you haven't heard of it, this would be a great time. Quick high-level overview, what the benefits and capabilities and functionality that it has to offer, especially when it comes to AMD and HP together to win those business. So quick, what is integrated quoting and why we're pushing it from HP perspective? Integrated quoting is a self-serve based integrated quoting tool that's housed on the partner portal. So you go easily get pricing for the AMD products, instant competitive pricing as well, customize those products to meet your customer needs. And then the key thing is that speed to quote. We want you to be first to our competitors to the door, get the competitive pricing up front, and be able to get your quote and win the business. I know we have a little bit of time. Definitely great benefits that I want to highlight, but without further ado, what I would like to do is be more visual and show you what it looks like, how to access it on a partner portal, and show you some of the great benefits you could do when it comes to AMD as well. So with that, I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we go into the demonstration for integrated quoting. And thank you, Arturo, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Arturo. All right, we got you there. Good to go.
Awesome. So right now, what you're looking at will be the HP Partner Portal. This is where we house multiple our resources for our partners, right? You name it. And it's not going to be it's going to be the exact same when it comes down to integrated quoting. What I will show you is that how would you find the IQ or integrated quoting from the HP Partner Portal? You hover over my workspace. It used to be previously benefits. Now it's in our deals section, which makes sense because it does create deals. It creates those big deals, get you the pricing and out the door to your clients. Underneath deals, you will find integrated quoting. And once you select integrated quoting, you will be navigated to what we consider here is the IQ landing page. You're still on the HP Partner Portal. Here on the integrated quoting landing page, you will have a lot of resources that's going to help you get through the quoting process fairly quickly within minutes, and training documentations, web-based tutorials held there for you as well, and FAQs to help you through the process when you're creating your quote with IQ. I will highlight, if you have a chance, go on the partner portal, hit IQ landing page, and check out this cool 3-minute video. It is awesome. It does show a great high-level video of what the tool does and what it interacts, and the key benefits of what we wanted to show you here fairly quickly as well. Now, if you have access to the tool, you will see the go button. You will select that, get into IQ, start your quoting process, and get those AMD products out the door. However, if you don't have access to the tool, that's okay. Just reach out to us, your partner portal, the partner portal supports team, and they'll get you going and make sure you get access. Okay. But now, when you're inside the IQ, this is integrated quoting. We're in the tool. I'm starting my quoting process, and within the quoting process, there's a lot of details you can do when it comes to AMD, starting with custom configuration. So if I wanted to create a custom build right now, I will go into the tool, go into my one config solution within IQ, and search for those products, those AMD products, to get them on my quote. So really go to desktops. We're talking the EliteBook 800, 805 series. So we got the 835s, we have the 845s, we even have the 865s options that you can custom configure. And we also have not only your IDS options, your standard IDS option, but we also have the RC2 option. So that's where you get your TAA compliant models to start custom building as needed. We also have the Z series workstation. So since if your customer is into customizing this the Z series, specifically workstations for AMD, you go in there to one config, quickly navigate through all of the particular components you're looking to have. You can scroll through and actually configure those processors that you're looking to have. When it comes to AMD, is right there, right in the tool. And what we will do is make sure you get the best pricing when it comes down to getting this all your big deal and out the door to your clients. Okay. So that is one way you can actually go ahead and maybe you don't need a custom configuration. Well, we have what we call Smart Search as well available in the tool that show you a ton of our BTO products, including AMD, where you could actually navigate and search by part numbers as well as descriptions. And the cool thing about the Smart Search tool is that we are displaying inventory levels that are coming from our distributors. So if you work with a primary distributor, feel free to take a look in the Smart Search to see what type of inventory levels they may have in stock for AMD. On my left-hand side, you can see here there's a ton of category, ton of filters, including one for AMD as well, to help you make sure you're selecting the right product for your client when it comes down to those solutions. Now, as you can see here, by default, they narrowed down my search to AMD product. Right now, I'm going to just go ahead and add one of these ZBook Firefly options here to my quote, just so you can see what features the tool would have as well. As you can see, one of the cool things that's happening now is that I added my Firefly ZBook to my quote, but it also included some top recommended HP branded accessories to make sure you're also increasing your total opportunity value and making sure the client actually get the total package as well out the door. So that's auto attach feature, making sure you don't go naked without the sell a naked notebook or sell a naked ZBook workstation. With AMD, we want to make sure you're getting those top accessories attached to them as well. And then of course, you could also take advantage of our guided selling feature, which also gives you that good, better, best solutions within the tool, all in one spot, to make sure you're actually attaching the right products, such as services, HP care packs, HP branded accessories, you name it, it'll be here. And it's making sure that it's awesome because it's going to be compatible to the product that you have selected in the tool. So there's definitely a lot of additional features, great features to take advantage of. Simple process to get you instant pricing, get your quote, get your big deal, work your distributors, and get it over to the client. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to the next presenter. Thank you for having me.
Real quick, there was a question that came through. I want to ask it now because it is directed at the integrated quote tool. Is IQ geared towards industry IT purchases, or is it more for individual purchases? I think that's fairly obvious, but
yeah, it could be geared for more. We recommend definitely sweet spot for those smaller SMB accounts, smaller space, but it's definitely supportive of the higher, larger complexity accounts as well. But we definitely highly recommend if you got those sweet, small, SMB deals and there's not managed with HP right now, and they're unmanaged, this would be the perfect tool to go in, fast, quick, and simple to get those pricings up front and to your client. But absolutely.
And again, how do the people that are watching this access this.
So yeah, I'm go back. So access to integrated quoting. Let's go back a step. Like I said, it's on the HP Partner Portal. Where you would go to is your workspace. You will go over to deals, and then you'll see IQ or integrated quoting. Once you select integrated quoting, you'll be on the landing page of IQ, which is you see here on the screen. You will have, if you have access, you will see the go button. If you don't have access, feel free to reach out to our support team by using this little question mark icon at the very top here, top right corner. You could reach out to the partner portal support team, and they would get you access right away, or reach out to your HP associates, and they know who to reach out to make sure you and your peers have access to integrated quoting to get you going on the quoting process. A great question. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for the presentation, the demo. That is a really cool tool, and I'm excited to kind of to sink my teeth into it. The smart search in particular, just looking for PTO options, looks
Awesome.
great as well.
Yeah,
so with that, I think we're gonna throw things over to the world famous Jeff Presley from AMD. He didn't know he was getting a new moniker when he joined this call today. He's gonna put that on his desk now.
So my name is Jeff Presley with AMD. I'm a senior business development executive, and this is my 43rd year in IT. And I'm just recently returning to AMD. I've been back for 3 years, but I was here from 2006 to 2009. Of course, we're having a great time at AMD. If anybody's paying attention to our stock, you're definitely excited, and if you're a stock owner. But there's a reason for that, and the reason is innovation of technology. We're continuing to be the leader in performance. Now we're starting, from the AI side, and everybody wants to talk about AI. So as we go forward, when we look at the industry today, the key part of this is, for a while, we had the pandemic, and so collaboration, hybrid workforce, productivity, really the user experience has really changed, really the focus of what you're seeing in the world. Improvement of video quality, audio quality, because you're going to be able to do so much more with that. And so as you move forward, not only is that important, but you're going to continue to hear everybody talk about sustainability. That's been moniker for quite a while. And, we're leading the pack in that as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit, in these further slides. But we're at a new inflection point. And, for a while, you were looking at, when you made a purchase in the technology, you were talking about performance, you're talking about graphics, you're talking about battery life, mobility, and really that made that higher shift when that first major inflection point was the pandemic, where mobility, collaboration, doing everything virtual was very important. So that whole user experience was another piece, another level that was focused. But now we're at a new inflection point, and it's AI. And everybody wants to talk about AI. There's all kind of levels of AI, but there is from, you talk about, if you heard about Copilot with Microsoft, and we're working heavily with them to continue to work the processor and the requirements for the software and the program, collectively together. So this is where you're going to start looking at, are you AI ready? Are you AI ready with your technology, and what's it going to take? And when you look at this and you look at really where AI today, the generative AI is really sitting out in the cloud. It's very heavy, a lot of intense processing, dense processing. And so you see that where you're going to start to see a shift, and the shift has already started, and we're leading the pack in that shift to where you're taking that off of that cloud model and bringing it closer to the end user. So you're going to start to see the large models, where you're going to be able to put more power in the laptop, the workstation, the desktop. And the other piece is, this also increases their level of security. The closer it is to the source, the more you're going to be able to control that, and the more you're able to handle that, and also to have a point where it's safer as relative to security. And so what you're going to see is this shift where the AI model is going to be more of a hybrid, so that you're going to have a mix between some heavier large learning models are going to be in the cloud, to where you're going to have also processing at the edge where servers are closer out of the data center, but they're closer to the location. And then all the way down to where it's truly local. It's on the endpoint. It's on your laptop. And so this is where it's also a difference in cost, because the closer you are to the source and to a smaller model, then you're going to save in a lot of the cost of this. And so the future for the PC is now. AI, AMD Ryzen AI. And when you look at this, we were the first to release a dedicated AI engine. We did it in August. And we had, from August to the end of the year, we had over 100 AI Ryzen different systems and models that were released by the end of 2023. The other kicker to that is a lot of people don't realize that we have now shipped, not pre-sold, okay, not promised, delivered, shipped and delivered over 5 million Ryzen AI laptops. So I would say that puts us in a leadership position in AI PCs, because we were the first to deliver that, and we've delivered a massive amount of those. The first that we delivered is the 7040. It is an integrated processor that has the CPU, the GPU, and it has the AI engine all integrated together to be a single processor. Now, one of the things is we're all the way down to 4 nanometers. Now, I don't like to talk about speeds and feeds, but this matters. The key to having a smaller processor is significant in that requires less wattage, generates less heat. If I'm in a laptop, the fan turns on less. So that takes up less power. I'm in a situation where I've got one of our latest laptops where I went 3 days without plugging my laptop in. 3 days. Flew out to a conference, worked in a booth for 2 days in a conference, and then flew back out. And I finally, the night in the hotel and the 3rd day, I plugged my laptop back in. I recorded 26 hours battery life. So there's another difference there. The other thing is we've added in our business laptops our RDNA 3 level graphics card. This is almost like a gamer's quality graphics card that you have the ability to run up to 4 4K screens off of this without having to add a discrete graphics card. Up to high def 4K, resolution. So this is a big difference in that you've increased the quality of the graphics in a commercial business laptop. And of course, the Ryzen AI. The key part of the Ryzen AI is we're able, when we do this against the competition, we're actually able to use our lower wattage system and compete with their higher wattage systems. We're sitting in that 15 to 20 to 30 range, where they're in the 50 and above range, and we can still beat them in performance. And so this is a key aspect of what we're doing with the processor. So when you look at the Ryzen AI, it can run 4 concurrent AI streams in real time. And then you're going to hear a new term called TOPS. Okay, when you start talking about what is going to be a recommendation or requirement in an AI laptop, it's trillion AI operations per second. So that's going to be a new term you're going to hear, where you're going to hear stuff like, okay, Copilot recommends that you have possibly 16 to 20 TOPS to run it. So you're going to see this term more often when it relates to AI. And so what we're able to do is we're able to do this with what I would call a cool and quiet laptop that has a longer battery life and has better performance. So you're getting all of this all together. Now, right now, this 7040 is at 10 TOPS. We have announced the release of Hawk Point, which is 16 TOPS. And so that's coming, the shipping, we're about to be shipping that, but that's been released. There will be probably mid-year another release called Strix. Strix is going to be north of 45 tops. So you're going to see a big jump. We're almost going to triple the AI capability, but we're continuing to be aggressive in releasing. And then there'll be one more that will be released probably the first of next year called Kraken. And I love the name for that processor, but that's going to be the processor of the future, and it's going to be at a whole nother level. So we're going to continue to be moving forward in the AI world.
Boy, the ads for that one's just going to write
There was a
themselves.
question about, I saw where the question about AI chips compared to 14th gen. Some of the AI stuff that they're in that 10 to 12 range. We've already released 16. So that's kind of a comparison on the tops level. And then there's some other stuff that we can talk about a little bit later. But the key part of AI is you've got to have the entire ecosystem of, the partners, the models, the software and the libraries, and AMD has that. And so that's we're working hand in hand to optimize code with Microsoft so they can take advantage of what we're bringing on the AI track. And so this is where it's very important, is to have the complete ecosystem. And when you look at this, the hybrid user experience is being able to bring AI down to the end user level is, it's going to be faster return. You're not doing this over a network. You're saving costs. But the other part is you're going to see apps that are really applying to the end user. And so it's a little bit different than those large learning models, but there's be areas of play here. And when you look at this at a smaller level, we have been doing a little bit of AI, and AI is being worked in enhancing the background blurs, auto framing, where you're going to have new laptops, you're going to have multiple cameras. And so you can have auto framing and eye gaze correction where I can actually be looking down and it will keep my eye gaze picture up, and I could be reading notes and presenting to you. So there's a number of ways you can do that. Plus, with the multiple cameras and auto framing, is I may have an item where I want you to pay attention to, but I want another picture of me. And so have the zoom in and two separate cameras. And so you're going to start to see more and more of the user experience be enhanced. That's for PCs and for mobile workstations. So all of that works together. But the other thing that we did is we released the next level of the Threadripper Pro. Now, the Threadripper Pro is our workstation processor, and it's at another level. We're leading in the core count, the frequency, and everything, and even the cost point of what it's going to take to get into this. And so there is a significant difference between us and the competitor relative to what we can bring out to the picture. So this really applies to software and sciences, media and entertainment, design and manufacturing, architectural, engineering, analysis, all of those types of things. And when you look at the comparison, this will give you a reason why there is a big difference between it. When you look at just the core count, I mean, the highest they go to 56, we're at the 96. And here's the savings part, is when you have to do, because a lot of times if they want to make comparison to our high end, they actually have to put two processors in the tower. If they do that, they have to use a Windows network, not just regular Windows, to run the workstation. So there's a difference in cost as well. But the other piece is the higher frequency. But look what we've done with the L3 cache. And this is for engineering, analysis, and all like that. We have tripled what they can offer in the L3 cache side. So when you start looking at these benchmarks, there's significant difference. The more you ask of that workstation, the better we are. And when you look at like some of the analysis, you have the opportunity, and what we've also seen is we've also done some of these benchmarks where you can have 96, 64, 32, you can have different levels of core count in your workstation. But the situation here is when we actually match the same core counts, we still win in performance, still higher frequency, still more bandwidth. So this, and still more L3 cache. So all of this, significantly makes a difference in, when you look at the benchmarks and you look at your design and manufacturing. And this is where we're trying to put the core counts really close together. There is still a significant improvement in performance. When you look at architectural engineering and construction, when you look at the different lines, this is really where it makes a difference. And we have now released that in the Z workstation with HP. So to finalize my presentation, I did want to talk about where you can get more information for AMD. As a D&H partner, you can go to askAMD@dnh.com for anything you want to know about the HP, AMD line, anything about AMD. There is websites where you can go to the partner hub and get like one-pagers you can get give to end users. You have AMD Arena, which is, I think we're now in the 100 plus of training modules that you can select, and it's all relative to product, to markets, to everything. And then we do about 2 a week, the Meet the Experts webinar, where you actually can come on and you'll have a expert from AMD that does about a 30-minute presentation, but it's live. So you can ask questions, and it is recorded if you miss it. But here's the other piece I want you to take advantage of, and it's this: the demo pool. AMD has its own demo pool. We have over 1,500 units in the demo pool. If you have an interest in an end user, because we're winning. I do a lot of benchmarks. I do a lot of end user presentations as well. And we've had a situation where 25 of the last 27 benchmarks that I've been involved in, we won. So our situation is, if you put the technology in the end user's hands, we win. I'll take that 25 to 27 hit rate any day of the week. But the key part of this is you submit that interest to askAMD@dnh.com. We've got our funded heads, our sales champions at D&H that are watching that mailbox, and they'll get the information from you. They'll send you a form, and then you can request a demo unit. What we do is we ship the demo unit out next day. So that's how quick it is. Now, I know if you go to the OEMs, it may take you 2 to 3 weeks, to do that. They have a different process. They have a different approval process. But we have the laptops. We have the Z workstations. We have all of this that you can actually reach out and say, hey, I want to test this. You can even test it within your reseller community, within your techs, or you can even go to the end user that has an interest in it, and you can do that as well. So that's all that I had today. And what I'll do is now I'll turn it over to Gerald and let him take and dive deeper into the actual products of HP. Oh, sorry. Forgot about that.
Poll question first here.
Yeah,
yes.
There's a poll question that just came up here real quick, guys. If you could take a moment, answer this poll question. Again, we'll kind of get to the results a little bit later in Gerald's presentation. But you can go ahead and go to the next page. That'll stay up for them and continue on.
All right. Well, great. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gerald Flint. I am an AMD Alliance Specialist with HP. I've been with HP going on, 16 years, but I've been in this role for 8 years, which is kind of hard to believe, but it has been an amazing transformation to see kind of all what Jeff and AMD has been doing and bringing to the table. And we're super excited about talking about products that's available today that is AI ready to rock and roll with Ryzen Pro and the Threadripper technology that's there. So without further ado, let's kind of jump into it. I know we wanted to kind of ask some questions that are in there. I know that there's one question that did come up, and I'll hopefully try to address that here, talking about Threadripper. We do have some slides we want to talk about that, but hopefully I'll kind of get that addressed here soon. Big question we want to kind of jump into is just talking about this amazing relationship that we've had between HP and AMD. So on this slide, we have our CEO and president, Enrique Lores, and Dr. Lisa Su, who is a phenomenal leader with AMD, who's doing great things. But just to kind of highlight the 28 years that we've been working together and what we've been bringing to the table, there has been a long-term partnership on delivering game-changing innovations, like it says there. And we are starting to see a lot of that happening. And with all the greatness that AMD's been bringing to the table, it's been bringing a lot of people to the conversation about why AMD and why HP. And we at HP really love it because not only they got great things to help us kind of launch us into this future of AI, but they've been delivering a lot of great things to help us kind of bring options and kind of help do acquisition of new business that's out there. But this is just really quickly showing a timeline of innovations that we brought out. But what we want to do is kind of jump in and talk about our lineup right now. Now, a lot of people are going to point out, like, Gerald, you got to get with the times, man. It says 2023. Well, let me just kind of put this. This is stuff that we've had just recently that's brought out since 2023 that goes into now, but we will be having a new refresh of new products around the April, May timeframe with AMD, with a lot of those products that Jeff mentioned, such as Strix and such as the Hawk Point that's going to be coming out down the road. But for right now, we want to highlight a lot of this new product that is AI ready today. So for folks who are starting to have those conversations and getting ready for this AI revolution, you've heard a lot from our partners, such from Microsoft. You've just heard Jeff talk about AMD and where they're envisioning a lot of things. Well, we're seeing a lot of things happening. I think the biggest thing to think about is how us humans interact with computers is what AI is going to do. It's going to make things more personable. It's going to make things faster. It's going to save us time. And we're lucky to have a lot of products with AMD here today, such as our EliteBook 805 series, such as our brand new workstations and our mobile workstations, and as well as our desktop, the Z6 G5A that just came out. And so let's spend a little time about what you guys have today that is AI ready to sell as you start having those conversations with customers, as folks start getting ready for Windows 11 and Copilot and addressing all these things that are coming down. So the first one I want to talk about is one that just recently came out that may have been kind of lost in the limelight with the holidays and things that just came out, but we just released this and is now available. Is going to be our Z6 G5A with that amazing 7000 series Threadripper that Jeff just talked to us about. And this is our first workstation with that Threadripper. We're super excited about having it there because there's been a lot of needs and a lot of things that's been addressed by that this unit will do with it, thanks to what the Threadripper is able to deliver. So with that, I'm going to show a video that's going to talk about this real quick, and hopefully that's playing for you guys right now. All right. So why did we bring out the Threadripper? Well, and the Z6. Well, and oh, sorry about that, folks.
Yep. Just go to the next slide. You'll be fine.
There we go. So
There you go.
what we got from that is we're super excited about having it because that is our first realm with the AMD Threadripper. And from what we heard from customer insights is there's a lot of folks that are looking to kind of bring this balance between workflows that we have between the CPU and GPU. And that's exactly what this Z6 is able to bring us to the table to do there. The other thing is we're starting to see a lot of ITDMs and a lot of folks saying, look, we need to bring in the product that's the best for the job, and not necessarily always going from what we always brought to the table. And a lot of that has to do with what AMD has brought to the table with that Threadripper processor. Now, this is their 3rd gen that they've had at, and it's done a great job of splashing into bringing that ability to kind of crunch anything and everything that folks have on a high bandwidth, from what Jeff had mentioned and talked about on there. And then the biggest thing is also one of the importance of power and efficiency. And AMD is a leader there. They've been killing it on bringing better performance per watt. And so that's kind of what this Threadripper brought. So unfortunately, I know one of the questions that we had is like, are we going to see Threadripper maybe coming out on a mobile workstation? And unfortunately, right now, unofficially on a roadmap, no, I've not seen anything like that. And I think a lot of it has to be is that actually becomes a derivative of their EPYC processor, which is more desktop based. But hold on to your hats. You never know what's going to be happening around the corner. So we may see that, but hopefully that answers that folks' questions that we're talking about. Hey, Threadripper is awesome. We'd love to see it on a mobile device. Right now, I'm not seeing anything like that. And Jeff, if you want to pitch in and say if you want to answer that as well, you can. But as far as everything on the AMD side with HP, no, we don't see anything mobile coming with it.
Yeah, we're not seeing that on the roadmap as of today. So
okay, thank you. So kind of moving along, what we're really excited about with having on there, let me just kind of quickly talk about why we're excited about the Z6. Yes, we're going to have the ability to put Threadripper in there, and we're going to have a great opportunity to run 3 high-end GPUs on there as needed. We also have to make this thing to be a beast. I mean, if you're not familiar with the Z lineup of HP workstations, these are built to be running 24/7 for like 3 years and to be running beast mode. And that's exactly what this is able to do. It's able to crunch. So you've got up to 1 terabyte of memory. The other great thing you see on this picture here is this will have the ability to run 4 accessible NVMe M.2 jobs that are drives that you can add into this. So we know that a lot of customers want to have that security and the ability to pop in and pop out, hot swap. It's a really cool machine, but really quickly, you kind of just spent a little bit of time that you already didn't really pick up. We're going to be offering 6 flavors of that AMD Threadripper 7000WX Pro series. So you'll start off at a 12 core and go all the way up to a 96 core. Now we understand this is going to be kind of a niche market. Not everyone's going to be running 96 cores, but we'll have the ability to scale up or scale down depending on what the needs are, and keeping that thermodynamics down about 350 watts. That's across the board, which is pretty impressive. And so you're going to have that ability. Now, I really quickly wanted to show just a slide of what the layout looks like, because this is very important. Again, going in line with what the Z workstation is able to do, this was a complete design around that Threadripper for such things as airflow and thermodynamics. As you can see where the PCI lanes are kind of above and below where the chipset is, that gives us the ability to make sure the airflow is going through there. So not only do we have like 28 algorithms for fans, we also have 20 temperature sensors that are in this to make sure that this is not going to be thermodynamic or having issues or breaking out, which is things have been in the past that have had that before. And so there's really been a lot of thought and design that's gone into this, not only having the power what AMD Threadripper brings to us, but also able to run such as 3 high-end Ada NVIDIA cards or 1 triple-wide AMD Radeon Pro card in there. And so that's a really big difference. The other great thing that's in there is this has been future-proofed. With also we talked about PCI lanes. So this will have 2 PCI 4 slots in addition to the PCI 5 slots there to make this thing that's future-ready. And so the other great thing, as we talked about, is the MVA drives, the M.2s that you can put into there as an option. The other thing I really like about this is really flexible depending on what your customers needs. You can put in Flex IO modules, which basically is a way to kind of customize it for the job that it needs to be done without taking out a lot of your PCI slot usage. You know, for example, if I wanted to go up to a 10 gig Ethernet drive or whatever, I can actually configure that in and make it work for whatever people need it to do. And so there's a myriad of different modules you can put in for either legacy serial ports, or if I wanted to add like another USB-C port, they have the ability to add that. The other great thing about this unit is it has the ability to use our HP Anywhere software. So you can do that wireless KVM support for anywhere in the world where you're running that. And these are all some unique things that we have on the Z6 that we're able to offer our customers. And so really well thought out machine, adding the power and the ability to crunch anything with that Threadripper that's there. Now, real quickly, a lot of people are going to ask, well, where is this position? So if you're familiar with our workstation lineup, starting on the left with our Z1s and then scaling all the way up to our Z8 Fury, the Z6 technically is kind of in the middle, but this does a really good job of showing, like, a lot of time depends on the single thread or multi-threaded applications that people are using these for. Well, the Z6 may be in the middle of what it's able to do, but again, it's flexible and powerful enough now, it can compete up there with the bigger jobs that people need. And this kind of talks about some of the areas where a lot of people are going to be using that, such as the media entertainment, such as the data science, or even product development, where we're seeing a lot of people need the abilities of what the Z6 and Threadripper and all these things put together can do. And so that's a really good lineup of that. So again, just kind of really quickly, who's the target segments for these? Of course, it's going to be media entertainment, right? These guys are crunching and doing a lot of things. My understanding is, like, a lot of these folks have done it. From what I understand, when Threadripper came out, there was a company called Jellyfish that's out of the UK that did the movie, I think it was Star Wars Rogue One, that did a lot of the AI and stuff that's in with that and the CGI. Well, they use Threadripper in that. And so, of course, folks like media and entertainment, they're always looking for what a Z6 with Threadripper can develop. And of course, your product design and development folks are going to be there as well. The 3D modeling, the rendering, and of course, data science. And I really wouldn't even be surprised if you start seeing other folks like in the medical industry try to kind of get into this. But these are going to be some of the key segments for a lot of your customers for the Z6 and the Threadripper. And so I just really quickly kind of want to tie that into where you're going to see that play out. But the other slide I really quickly wanted to show, and this is kind of a little bit of an older slide, but we wanted to show it just because it is relevant. So this is kind of showing where the Z6 G5A we feel is very powerful and competes really well with what the competition had at the time. Now, I will be the first to say that Lenovo has brought out their new P8 that is also offering that Threadripper, and Dell has also got their Precision lineup that's there today. However, I will say that I understand that Lenovo is going to keep that P620 with Threadripper. They're going to keep that around, and if you look where the green dots are at, where we're able to offer more support on cores, we're able to offer that more support with the extra GPU slot there. That's just some of the advantages that we have. So again, it's not as relevant as it was when it first rolled out, because our competition has also smartly brought out the Threadripper with a lot of their next generation workstations. But the Z6 is definitely capable to handle any and all competition that's there. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this and discussing with what customers need. Again, very niche, but it is able to kind of offer a lot of what hasn't been there before, thanks to that Threadripper that we have now. Now, one other quick cool thing that I want to talk about, and I'll switch gears over to some other products, is we just barely brought this product out at the end of 23, and they preceded it with a lot of folks that are there. Well, lo and behold, StorageWorks gave this an award for being one of the most reliable and best workstations out there for 2023, which we're really super proud to show out there. And if you can see there highlighted in green, they actually kind of highlighted like this tower as a workstation is unstoppable. Some really good compliments that they brought out there. So being that it's brand new and already winning awards, that should resonate with folks. And so again, we're very, very excited about having this product out and being able to ready to kind of talk about it with folks. So I just wanted to kind of give it some love and put it on your guys' radar, because we're excited about having it out there. So kind of moving along, let's talk about mobile workstations that are AI ready to go. And Jeff talked a lot about with that new, the processor that they brought out this past summer, the Ryzen Pro 7040 series. Well, we just implemented that into our new mobile workstations, the ZBook Firefly 14-inch and the ZBook Power G10A. These are awesome machines. And not only do we see a lot of folks that are using these, we got a lot of demos out, we're starting to see wins with these come out with folks. And the reason being is because that processor, that Ryzen Pro 7040, is awesome. Not only is this running a little higher end, it's running the HS processor, which starts about 28 watts and scales up. But now you actually got AI ready capabilities in with this. And you can maybe even use these as possible desktop replacements, where you've got customers or folks that are maybe needing to have the ability to do some high-end rendering or do some other things that are there, but maybe have that on a mobile processor. And it's no joke what AMD is bringing to the table with better battery life, better performance per watt, And now you've got this in a mobile workstations that are a step above our EliteBooks that are able to deliver. And great things having like Thunderbolt docks on with them. One thing that I really love about the ZBook Firefly is that 7040 series is running the brand new greatest graphics that are out there, the RDNA 3. That is the world's first graphics that are integrated, that are able to run ISV certifications without having a separate graphics card. So where you might want to see if people are looking at that, that will save about $150 of a graphics card, but still run everything really well on an ISV certification level on the Firefly. But if you have customers that still need to have a little bit more graphic power, then absolutely to have them look at the ZBook Power, where that has the ability to run up, I think all the way up to, I think it's an RTX 2000 series graphics card, if they need that GPU power in addition. But straight out of the box, AMD is delivering really good graphics, really good power at a really affordable price point. So get to know these guys. I would echo what Jeff talked about by demoing. There's a lot of myriad of different ways to get demos, not only through those guys, but HP and if you have your HP PBM and resellers, they can help you get demos as well. But keep those in mind, because we're really excited about having these. And they said, in addition to that desktop, that Z6 that brought out, we've got mobile workstations with AMD in our portfolio that's really exciting. Now, one thing that I will also mention that helps make these guys future ready, that are ready for not only the AI that's in them, but these also take advantage of the HP Presence software. If you haven't had a chance to look what HP Presence software does, basically in layman terms, it's kind of that in addition to where the rubber meets the road, where AI is helping us look and sound better, using multiple cameras, making things look better. If you need to have like automatic keystone correction, if you're presenting on something behind you, like as a professor or a teacher, this is also in those mobile workstations, and as well as in this 805 EliteBook that I'll talk about here in a moment. But if you haven't seen this, please work with D&H or work with your PBMs. Get to know what this does, because I really think this is enhanced with what the technologies between HP and AMD are bringing together to bring you AI to make work for you and work happy is kind of the same thing with it. The other thing that I would also mention on that is kind of flipping into another machine. There's our 805 G10 series. Again, these have been out for a while, but they are built with that 7040 series Ryzen Pro chip that is AI ready right now. And so as you're working with customers that want to have a do everything notebook at affordable price point, our 805 series are phenomenal. This is kind of like our workhorse or flagship, where they just got upgraded, and not only with that better processor, you can also get DDR5 or LPDDR5 memory in these. You've got an OLED operation screen that you can do it. They've got better cameras with them. And again, the design around this, they're actually very, very reliable in what they do with all their messaging, with their sustainability that's there. I know another thing a lot of people love about our Elite series notebooks is the ability to kind of do the customer or even the IT department, with just removing a few screws, you can do a lot of the maintenance and things and upgrades yourself on that. So really get to know these guys. But the point that I want to point out, not only by having all those collaboration features where AI is going to start to help you, they are AI ready right now. So if you've got people looking at a refresh, our 13-inch, our 14-inch, and 16-inch, they're really nice notebooks. And so I really would kind of get a chance to take a look at those and get those in front of a customer. One thing I'll point out why we love the 805 with AMD so much is this is actually a really good opportunity for you guys to look at acquisition business, say against Dell. Dell Latitudes generally do not have AMD in them right now. And so this is a perfect opportunity for you to kind of introduce the goodness of AMD and Ryzen Pro with HP, but also compete against them at better performance per watt, better battery life, and then having all these features that are there that you're probably not going to find in a Dell Latitude 7000 series. This would also compete with Lenovo. They also have their Z and I believe T series, their ThinkBooks. However, you got to be warned, they actually have their AMD side too as well. But if you're going up against any of the Intel-based Dells and Latitudes, this is a great opportunity. And speaking of which, just to kind of show you some of the third-party benchmarks and things that are out there, this is just showing an EliteBook 845 with a Ryzen 7 7840U processor versus a Dell Latitude 7000 series, which is sporting an Intel i7 13 gen processor. So pretty much close to apples there. But if you look at the benchmarks on these, AMD is winning and HP is winning with better performance, better battery life, and in keeping it cool and quiet, which is kind of the name of the game for thin and light notebooks, right? And so this is just a snapshot that was taken by a third party that did this. And I want to quickly show you these, but we have these benchmarks and things that are available that are there, but I really quickly wanted to show that. And then along with the same theme, a lot of people are like, well, why not, can I get a better configuration or a better price? Why not get both? This is just showing in how those EliteBook 865s compete really well with the comparably similar config Dell Latitude. So keep that in mind. We really love our 805s, and we want to make sure those they're out front of everybody there. And if you need more power than what the 805 is able to do, then maybe talk about that the Firefly or the Power mobile workstations that are there. And so really exciting stuff. Now I'm going to quickly bring this home and then kind of go along with what Arturo and the other gentleman mentioned about IQ quoting. We have some tools and things that are in place right now that are available to you as channel partners via D&H. We have this integrated quoting tool. These are sizzle and deals. These are just an example of some of the HP AMD notebooks, such as our Firefly or our 845 notebook, that are available through that integrated quote where you get that speed to quote price that's there. Now, these are available. So this is something to take advantage of to kind of help you guys sell those 805s and those ZBooks that we talked about that are there. So get a chance to look at those. And those are also available, you know, through your PBMs, but work with D&H if you want to take a look at those and take advantage of the pricing that's there. The other thing real quickly is HP brought out just recently, starting in November, is we have our Smart Buy Plus series of SKUs that are there. And these are denoted by having an AT instead of a UT at the end by the ABA. Well, these are just 3 of them that we brought out that are competitively priced. And I just noticed I got a typo on one of these. There's actually a $50 Curiosity Spiff instead of a $35 on that ZBook Power and that ZBook Firefly. And again, these are all comparably priced. They're AI ready, and they're really comparable to what that's out there. And so I definitely got to take a look at those and keep that in mind. So with that, I'll just kind of quickly bring this home real quick, say, look, why do we care about AMD here at HP? Well, we've kind of covered it between Jeff and myself. They do offer you a very good performance. They give you a choice. They're a value. They're actually winning in a lot of areas as far as having the AI ready and sustainability and security messages there. And it really helps you kind of acquisition new business that's out there. So if you are going up against these Dell houses or areas that are there, this gives you an opportunity to kind of go after that with something that's reliable that folks can kind of test out. And again, we echo the same message. Get it in people's hands. Let them try it out in their environment. I think most people are going to be more pleasantly surprised or even know that AMD could deliver what they could. And so that's a great thing. So I'll just kind of sum this up as a call to action for you guys out there and gals. Please take a look and start getting ready to have that conversation with your customers. What are they doing to get ready for Windows 11? As Jeff mentioned, we're working really closely with Microsoft and Copilot, and that's going to be a big thing to do is get ready to start talking about where are they ready for? Are they ready for Copilot? Are they ready to have AI-ready machines where they can do that hybrid motion? As we mentioned, this is probably going to be one of the biggest changes that we're going to see in the computer industry in 20 years. Is having this folks be ready to have the AI or that hybrid capability. And then, of course, the other thing is there, check out what we have ready that's right now, such as those 805 EliteBooks, such as the Threadripper that's in our Z6, or those mobile workstations. We have a really good complement of things that are ready to people want to future-proof now. We have that today. So with that, I'll just leave that with you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate D&H letting me have me come on. And I appreciate flying wing with the gentleman that were on with us earlier today. I know there's a few questions, so I'm going to turn that over. But I do. There's one more poll question that we have together. We'll run on that. And I'll turn that back over to you, Chris.
Yeah, there's one more poll question here at the end. If you guys could go ahead and answer that poll question for us. There are a bunch of questions that came in. A lot we probably won't be able to get to. The first one I saw from Ken is about protecting against the unintentional consequences of AI. I think that might be a greater discussion than any of us on this call could help you with right now. But what I would say is stay tuned. We'll have more to talk about that.
That's a great way. That's a great way to sum that up. I would say I know HP has got a lot of stuff being baked out to kind of help this deeper conversation. And I know you're going to see a lot of that from other partners such as Microsoft and AMD. So I would definitely stay tuned, but more than willing to jump on a phone call or whatever to kind of talk about what we can tell you about today.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm only speaking myself from a D&H perspective, we're not worried about that sitting here today, but we're forward thinking it will be a larger problem as we go forward. So yeah, stay tuned on that one. One of the other questions that came up is, will these mobile workstations be available in 16 and 17-inch models?
So as far as the actual EliteBooks, we do have a 13-inch and a 14-inch and a 16-inch that's there. On the mobile workstations for right now, I believe there's only going to be the 14-inch Firefly and the 16-inch Power. I haven't seen anything on a roadmap beyond that, but that's another one you'll have to stay tuned. That could change. But I know in the near future, I haven't seen anything outside of a 14-inch or a 16-inch ZBook. But on the EliteBooks, we had the 13, 14s, and the 16s.
Okay. And are AMD processors available in the 14-inch EliteBook X360 series of notebooks?
So we have a AMD there, but unfortunately, it's not the AI ready, the Ryzen Pro 7040. The current version, the G10s right now, have the Ryzen. It's a Ryzen 5000 series. It's codenamed Barcelo. So it's a little less in performance. It doesn't have the AI capability. Still a really good notebook, or a chip that has the ability to keep the battery life and the performance there. But I definitely say if you're looking to have a lot of that AI ready and to have a lot of the bells and whistles and the power that the 7040U series, then you'd have to jump up to the EliteBooks, unfortunately.
Paul had a couple questions about how these Threadripper processors compare to what we're seeing from competitors like Apple. Do you want to kind of just give a general thoughts on that? Because from my perspective, as I said, I hate to use this pun because it's a little bit like comparing apples and oranges in that they're both fruit in that they're computers, but they're two different things.
No, great question. I'm going to defer over to Jeff first to answer that, and then I'll
Sure.
add some color on the end if that's all right.
Yeah, so on the graphics, it's comparable. The power in the type of processing is significantly better on the Threadripper as far as the overall processing. But I think now I'm looking at this question, it's integrated on the laptops, not on the, is that right? I'm trying to find the question.
How does the integrated graphics on these laptops compare to the MacBook with M3 Pro, and M3 Max?
Yeah, I think it's very comparable because of the high resolution. I mean, you get OLED quality graphics, and then the processing there's a lot of memory that can be shared between the processor. And so the processing of the graphics itself is actually very, very powerful for rendering, streaming, and things like that.
And I'll just add to that. So I know I've seen some benchmarks compared to like the older M2. I will say the M2, M3, they're very good chips and very competitive. I understand that the 7040 series has been beating those as far as like the graphics, like Jeff said, and I believe the power savings, like the battery life, are very comparable with it. Now the M3s, we're going to have to wait because those are newest, right? And I would think we're going to have a better answer when we get the new G11s that are going to have the Hawk Point, the code name. That's the next gen AMD Ryzen Pros that are coming out. So we'll have to stay tuned to kind of see where benchmarks and things with that. But I would say we're comparable. I said I would have no problem putting like a ZBook, a Firefly, or a Power up against like some of those MacBook Pros and things that are there. I think there might be some things on us, and then we might beat them and some others. But I would definitely say there's some good competition heating up between those two.
Yeah, I would say personally, as someone who uses one of the fruity laptops in their personal life and uses an AMD-based laptop for work, man, have I been blown away with the battery life and the power I've been getting out of the AMD laptop I've been using at work. More so because I was using a competitor's laptop prior to that from the third manufacturer, and I was always disappointed with the battery life. I was very happy with it warming my lap on a cold winter's day, which the AMD does not do. But so, feedback for AMD, maybe I do want a little bit of warmth. It's cold in Pennsylvania right now.
Fair enough.
But I would say take it if you are interested at all in getting one of these devices in your hand. Take up Jeff on his offer. Reach out and get one of those devices in your hand as part of the demo process. I think you'll be blown away. I've been thoroughly blown away by AMD over the course of the last 3 years. They have raised the bar so high. It's changing my mind, and I'm surprised in that myself. There was a question about TAA compliant. Are there any of these devices that we talked about today TAA compliant?
No, great question. And yes, the ZBook workstations that we talked about, the mobile workstations, they're TAA compliant, as well as the EliteBook 805 series are correct. Yeah, there is a version you can get of that.
All right, Jeff, there's one last question I want to get to because there's a couple more here, but there's only one more that I think we're going to have time for. It was around the battery cells that exist in the HP one. And I want to go to you first because I believe we talked about this in the past, and you had a great take on why the battery cells might not be the end game in terms of battery life for these AMD devices.
Yeah, what we're seeing is we're continuing to reduce the size of the batteries because we want to make everything smaller, thinner, lighter. And that's really kind of the part of that. But we have added so much more relative to the power management and the ability to turn cores totally off and things like this as far as not taking up any power. It is that we don't see that need because, I mean, I'm getting 20 plus hours battery life.
Yeah.
How much more do you need?
I don't think you don't need very much more.
And I'll just add a little color to that too. So we've seen our competition, and I guess I'll pick on Dell a little bit more, but we've seen a lot of their notebooks. You've got to be very careful. Look at the wattage hours they have on their batteries. They're generally bigger, but even compared with some of the latest G9 and G10 EliteBooks that we've had against them, we're doing a lot smaller and still beating them on battery life and for the longevity. Like again, it's no joke that you're getting 2 to 3 hours more battery life than a comparable Intel based that's even got a bigger battery in that. But yeah, that's a valid question. You definitely have to look when you're comparing to apples, but you'll see a lot of our batteries are a little smaller. And the other thing you got to keep in mind is just the weight. When you got a bigger battery, it's adding more weight to the unit too. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds.
I think that's great.
And one other piece of this is that we don't say enough about is think about this, and this applies to anything, is there's a significant difference between the heat factor in these laptops where they're generating a lot more heat. The more you need to do it, they really ramp up the wattage to match our performance, and it creates a lot more heat. And here's the thing is that we don't talk much about is think about the wear and tear that heat has on your components overall in the laptop. It's not a positive thing.
Yep. I think that's a great way to sum things up here. And thank you guys so much for your time here today. And thank you, Alonzo and Arturo, who was here earlier with us today. Gerald and Jeff, it's always great to have you guys on. If any of you guys who are watching this either live or on demand have any more questions after this, you can reach out to us. AskAMD@dnh.com is a great email address to reach out to us at. Our next broadcast is going to be March 26th, 2 p.m. We'll be talking about AI again in the server world. So if you're interested in a little bit more discussion on that, feel free to join us there. But again, thank you so much for joining us. For Jeff, Gerald, Alonzo, and Arturo, you guys have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.